It's a good day.
It's a good day.
All right, there we go. Hey, everyone, welcome. We're so happy to see you here. And we are live today. We have a special guest, so exciting. Misty Harber. Misty,
Hi.
welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
So
Thanks for
happy to
having me.
have you here.
I
I
appreciate it.
you know, the first time that you and I had an opportunity to chat, I was so excited because I kept saying we're twins, because we had so many things that that we had in common, and so many things that like from our past, and so many things that we've been involved in,
Yes.
so I'm excited. I want to just jump right in. I want to welcome everyone and just say good morning. This is the day that Adonai has made. And you know what we're going to do today? We're going to have a dance party. So, everybody dance to their own music. There we go. Mine will be, like Dean Martin. So, but anyway, Misty, you are a powerhouse, sister.
Oh,
You are
well,
one
thank
of
you.
those, you are one of those beautiful women that just your life has just been dedicated to serving Adonai and serving his people. And I just love, you have such a servant's heart. I just love that about you.
Oh,
So I'm
thank
going to tell everybody a little bit about your deets, your little
you.
411 here. And then from there, we'll just share some things. You are, sister, you are an ordained minister.
Yes.
You do weddings, funerals, bar mitzvahs, bad mitzvahs.
Right?
You do it all.
Do it all. Whatever
You
your
do it
needs
all.
are.
Yeah, that's right. You are a full service servant.
Right, right.
Yeah. So you have a wedding coming up, don't you?
I do in December. Some friends, I'm actually a moderator in a singles group, and
Mhm.
anybody who's in
A singles Torah group,
a
correct?
singles Torah group, yes, it's Hebrew Heart Seeking Spouses.
Ooh,
And so,
ooh, that's
yes,
an interesting name.
yes. And so we try to make it a really safe place. Well,
Huh?
two of the admins from that page are getting married in December. And
Did
so
they meet in the group?
they did.
Oh,
Yes,
it works.
it works. And so they're getting married in December. And she was like, hey, do you think that you could? And I'm like, absolutely. So I'm really excited about it. It's going to be
All
a
right.
really, really neat ceremony
And where will that wedding be?
in Dallas.
In Dallas. Nice.
Yeah.
So it's not too far.
Not too far.
Few
It's about
few
5.5
hours.
hours. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Not bad. So
Yeah.
I'm excited for them. They are the cutest. So
Oh, that's so wonderful.
yes.
You're from Amarillo, Texas.
Yes. Been
You
here my
know,
whole life.
that's where my family's from.
Oh,
All
nice.
my peeps, my
All
on
your
my mother's
peeps.
side. All my peeps on my mother's side. Yeah,
Nice.
3, 4 generations.
Oh,
Amarillo,
wow.
right? My mom was born there in Amarillo. Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah. So, and
Awesome.
then she moved to California, and I was born in California,
Okay. Well, this
but
is
I'm
one of those
back.
places, right? This is one of those places you either love it or you hate it. There's really not
Hmm.
a whole lot of in between.
Yeah.
I will tell you, I spent 2 years in East Texas. So during that
Wow.
time in East Texas, the
Hmm.
thing I missed was, in Amarillo, it is flat and it is dry. And so, but one of the things that I missed was the sunrises and sunsets
Oh
because you
yeah.
just can't beat them here. And in East Texas, there's all these trees in the way. The trees were
Oh.
beautiful, but they were in
I've
the
never heard
way.
anybody say that. The trees are in the way. Hmm. Sabrina's just saying that her family's from Amarillo and she lives
Oh,
in Childress. Did you say, Sabrina? Childress?
Childress.
Childress? Okay, well, yeah,
Something
something like that.
like that.
Say oil. Just say it. Say oil.
You are not going to bait me, Brenda.
Texans have their own lingo. I'm just
That's
saying,
right.
if you're learning English,
Yeah,
Texan is a derivative because there's no
definitely.
oil. I can't even say all. I mean, how long have I been here? I still can't say it. Oh,
Oh,
oh, oh, oh, all. There you go.
oh.
Yeah, now spell that. No, I'm just joking. Sorry.
Oh, well,
Anyway, how lovely that we have, and Sabrina's close to you. So you know what? That would
yes.
be a fan. Sabrina, Misty, Sabrina,
Hi.
Carol. Sabrina.
Hello.
You guys are all close. That's
Yeah.
fantastic.
I
Yeah.
Look
was
at that.
just going to say, don't forget that I live like right around the corner from Misty.
I
Uh-huh.
know you guys are a team there. So
Yeah.
yes. So Sabrina, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Petra, we're there are so many people that are in South Africa. However, so it's a big place.
It is.
So yeah. So we're going to trust the Holy One to be bringing more and more people together, like little
Yes.
nucleuses. I love it. So
Yes.
yeah. All right. Good deal. Well, anyway, Misty, I got diverted there. Hey guys, and welcome to everyone on Facebook. Love you, love you, love you. So nice to see you. Okay, so you're an ordained minister. You've been that for many, many years.
Yes. 17
Um,
years.
17 years.
Mhm.
You are currently in leadership at Life of Worship Amarillo. That is
Yes.
a local congregation, a Torah observant, Torah pursuant, I should say, congregation in
Yes.
Amarillo.
Yes.
And you are on the worship team there.
Mhm.
And you also lead. And the thing is, of course, this is your little bio background. I'm gonna like
Right.
tell everybody your heart really is to mentor women in Torah, but not that you couldn't, you totally could mentor them in digging in and studying and all of that, but your heart is truly to mentor women in practical applications, applying Torah to their lives in practical ways and walking
Yes.
it out. Young women, and
Absolutely.
I just love that. So you have a passion for teaching, you have a
Mhm.
passion for the people of the Holy One, you have a passion for worship.
Yes.
Obviously, you've been on the worship team, you've been a worship leader, now you're in a position of leadership at your congregation. You teach there,
Mhm.
you
I've
do
been doing worship
instruction.
for 30 years.
30 years. Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
Except for the 2 years in East Texas where all we did
Oh,
was dance and I didn't have a worship
oh.
team. So that was a learning experience. It was great. So
Yes, East Texas is a learning experience.
yes, it
That's
is.
what we have here. It's
Yes, it
lovely.
is. It
It's a
is. It
lamed.
is. Yes, it is.
It's a lamed.
It
Yeah, it
is.
is. So sister, I just want to kind of give you an opportunity to talk about, when you are meeting young women who are just new to Torah, or, of course you can say they're new to Torah. If they're 22 years old, even if they've been walking Torah since they were born, that's still new to Torah. I mean, I consider
Right.
myself new to Torah. I really
Me
do.
too.
Like,
Yes.
no joke. Halissa was saying the other day that, did you like that? I just threw that name out there, Halissa, you know,
Alyssa.
Dr. Alwine.
Right.
Uh, she was saying the other day that, like, when you're in your third year of Torah, you teach everybody and you know everything, and you and you will never know as much as you know in your third year of Torah.
Right.
I mean, and I was like, how did she know that about me? And then she said, by your fifth year, you're by your 10th year, you're like, oh, whoa. By your 20th year, you're like, okay, I know nothing.
Right. Yes.
And that's where I'm at. It's like 21
Yeah.
years for me. And I'm like, really? I've been through this cycle 21 times, and I never knew that was in there.
Right.
Charlie and I are always joking about that. We're like, when did God put that in the Bible? I'm sure it wasn't there last cycle. I don't remember ever reading that before.
Right. Right.
But isn't that beautiful that the Word of God, His Word, is alive and living? His
Yes.
Word is instructions for living, for life. We don't have to know it all. We don't have to.
Right.
We just know what He teaches us today,
Right.
and don't worry about it.
Right.
And we're not behind.
No.
I was feeling behind yesterday. I had a moment, and I was feeling a little behind. And Charlie actually called me, and we were talking, and she said, "You're not behind. You're right where the Holy One wants you.
Right.
This is exactly where you need to be, right here, right now." And I thought, I say that to people, but am I living that? And it was a really good reminder that we are not behind. I don't care if you haven't done anything, if you've never celebrated Shabbat, it doesn't matter. Right here, right now, you're exactly where you need to be. And his arms are right around you, and you're being surrounded by sisters and brothers who love you and will support you. You are right where you need to be. So no one's behind.
He tells us that he will restore the years. In
Oh,
Joel, he says
hallelujah.
that he
Yes.
will restore the years. And so if you think you're behind just because you spent all these years in the church and you're repentant and all of these things are weighing on your mind, he will restore the years. He told us he would, and he wants us to hold him accountable to his promises.
Oh, gee. Oh, that's the thing. It's like he is faithful, and when we remind him of his faithfulness, it's not that he's forgotten his faithfulness, it's that we've forgotten his faithfulness. So our words, even though we say we're reminding God, are really the words that are penetrating us and reminding our DNA of who we are, right?
Yes.
Oh, I love that,
Yeah.
Misty.
Because his word doesn't return void. We
Mm-hmm.
need to hear it. We need to
Mm-hmm.
hear it. And sometimes if it has
Yes.
to come out of our own mouth to hear it, that's what has to happen.
Oh, I think it needs to come out of our own mouth a lot of times.
Oh, more often than not, for sure.
Yeah.
For
Isn't
sure.
David good at that?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Oh,
man.
my soul.
Yes.
Hey, you, wake up.
Wake up.
What's the matter with you?
Get
What
up.
are you looking down for? Lift your head up. Put that chin up. Let's go. Look up there. Eyes.
Yes,
Don't you love
definitely.
that?
Oh, I do. And he's so raw and so real. And when people are like, "Oh, you can't say that. You can't pray like that." And well, then you better talk to David because he sure let him know how he felt.
That's right. That's right. David didn't hold back anything. And you know what I love about that is that, oh, now this is like a two tissue box.
Yeah.
Is that David and Moses both? I mean, all of the greats, let's just say that, but especially today, David and Moses, they they had their moments recorded. Like
Yeah.
the Holy One specifically directed them to record their worst moments.
Yes.
It would have been really easy in the Torah to just glide over the fact that Moses killed that Egyptian.
Hmm.
Um, but he didn't.
Right.
And when Moses was being used by the Holy One to have those words scribed, his darkness, the things that he was doing that were, you don't want those recorded. They were recorded. David, the same way. David's lusting over Bathsheba. It's like, oh, psst, hello, right there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Charlie
Well,
says their worst moments didn't define them.
that's
That's
right.
right, sis.
That's right.
Exactly.
Well, he goes on to tell us further. He says that David was a man after his own heart. And you look at him and the things that he did, and for me, he is probably one of the greatest figures of hope in the word for me, because I think, look at all these things he did, and yet the Holy One chose to tell us he was a man after his own heart.
Yes.
Oh, it's so
Yes.
beautiful. That's that Hesed, right?
Chesed, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is the loving kindness,
Yes.
the mercy and goodness that surrounds us.
Yes.
That is who he is.
Yes.
That's and Moses in the midst of, I mean, okay, I said Moses killed the one, the one Egyptian, but it when he came down the mountain the first time, he ordered the killing of a lot more than that. And that is recorded too.
Yes.
And the thing is that those were not good moments. Those were okay. So can we stop and just say, all right, what I've done, does it measure up to killing 3,000 people? Does it measure up to putting someone deliberately in harm's way so that they would be killed? Does it measure up to that? Maybe it does. Maybe it does.
Our
But I'm
words
just
can
saying
be
that,
just that devastating.
well, yeah, that's very true. Yeah. So we just need to take a breath and say, hey, you know what? It's not about our worst moments, and
Right.
it's not about our best moments either. It's about being with him, right? So
Yes.
so talk to us a little bit about that. Talk to us a little bit about.
So one of my passions is really for women overall. I mean, no matter
Mhm.
what age they are, but I do believe that when in Titus that says that the older women are supposed to teach the younger women, I do believe that is our responsibility, that we should be taking them under our wing. And I'm not talking about just mentoring them in the word. I'm also talking about if they don't know how to cook, we need to help them learn.
Oh,
um,
yes.
it's important. I mean, they don't even teach home ec in school anymore.
I
So,
know.
and they don't teach finances. They don't teach a lot of things that are everyday, day-to-day things that, because we live in Egypt, we have to deal with those things. We have to live with them. We have to know how to handle situations that come up that are a part of this world. And sometimes we just need a little help. When I was younger, I had people around me who were able to help me and guide me and keep me in the right path. And, women have this ability to form these bonds with other women that I don't know that men experience it. I've
Mhm,
not seen it evident in a lot of men's relationships,
mhm.
but for women, we bond together. We bond together over our children. We bond together over our work. We bond together over the word. And it is a very special thing.
Yes.
And we are accountable to each other. So it's really important for us to build those relationships. I was just praying this morning that I need more friendships around in my life that are holding me accountable and that are keeping me in that place and in that narrow way because of their surrounding. And so I look for those new relationships. And I posted something on my Facebook just the other day. I never thought I would be one of those people who had online relationships with friends,
Yeah.
but I have
Those
some.
aren't real.
Those aren't real. They don't exist. But I'm telling you, I have had some really amazing relationships come up online. And I would have never in a million years thought that that was the case, that
Yeah.
that could happen. But it has, and I love it.
Oh, yeah.
I love
Isn't
it.
isn't he so good?
Yeah.
So in your in sharing the practicalities to the women, to the young women, and by young I'm not talking about age, even
Right. Right.
yes, age, but also just people who've never been mentored. There are a lot of people that are my age, which um, they may not have had moms that shared with them and showed them things how to do, and uh, that's that's mentoring younger women too.
It is. It is.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's really, really one of my, I've said this before, but my sugar stick is
Oh, I
talk.
love that sugar stick. Is that a
My sugar stick,
Southernism?
yes.
Sugar stick.
My
Let's
sugar
translate
stick
that out.
is talking. It's kind of like, fingers in the pudding. It's kind
Oh,
of,
sugar stick. I like that. I'm writing
yeah.
that down. Okay.
My sugar stick is talking about character,
Mm.
because we can talk about the word all day long, but unless we are being those walking Torah scrolls for people to
Yeah.
see, then
Mm.
we are not being effective, and we are not being what he created us to be. We have a purpose. And if we're not walking in that purpose and applying the things that he tells us to do to our soul, not just the physical things of don't eat this, celebrate these feasts, all those kinds of things, those are all good and they're
Hmm.
blessings and they're
Hmm.
wonderful.
Yeah.
But if you are not walking it out in your soul, if you haven't allowed him to penetrate your heart and to look in all those little dark corners and heal the things that are broken inside, you can never be as effective as he wants you to be. You can be effective.
Mhm.
but you'll never be as effective as he wants you to be
Wow.
if you
Mhm.
aren't allowing that to penetrate your heart. Oh, I have this quote. Let me read this. Um,
I love that.
it
I'm letting
said
that
that.
wash over me. That's
So
good.
this is a little story that I found, and it says a rabbi was asked a question by a pupil, referring to Deuteronomy 6:6. Quote, "And these words which I command thee this day shall be upon thy heart." "Why is it said this way?" the pupil asked. "Why are we not told to place them in our heart?" The rabbi answered that it is not within man's power to place the divine teachings directly in his heart. All that we can do is place them on the surface of the heart so that when the heart breaks, they will drop in.
Oh. Oh. Oh, wow.
Yes. Have you ever heard of kintsugi?
Mm-mm.
It's I'm not even sure I'm saying that right because it's a Japanese word, but they take broken pottery and they fill it in. You've probably seen it. They
Mhm.
fill it in with gold
Yeah.
where it's broken, and you can see every crack and every crevice, but it's part of its beauty. And that's part of our beauty. It's part of our story. It's part of who we are. Everything that we've been through and been healed from. I apologize. Somebody just rang my doorbell. That never happens. One
Okay.
second.
Okay. So we
Hey,
will just let's
come
just
here.
let's put you on mute real
Come here.
quick.
Uh-uh.
There we go. So ladies, open up your microphones real quick. Let's talk about that real fast. Where have you seen in your life that the Holy One has taken those broken pieces and filled them in and allowed you to, move forward even in the midst of all of that brokenness? Maxine or Petra, would you guys like to jump in real quick?
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, one word,
Uh-huh.
everywhere. Like there's nothing that because we came into born in sin and shaped in iniquity. So we were made dysfunctional. So
Mm.
every area of my life, every thought, every sinew, I'm like, oh God, I need you to come in here. So everywhere for me kind of
Mhm.
sums it up.
Yeah. That's really true. Misty, you back, babe? All right. Petra, did you want to share something?
I would like to share. I entered into a new friendship and it just went bad. It totally broke me to the point that I had to go on antidepressants. I didn't know who I was anymore, what I was, what my purpose was. It even affected my relationship with my then fiance. And it was wonderful how God, in that complete brokenness, raised me up into such a confident woman in Him, not in the
Yeah.
world, not in my
Uh-huh.
friendships, not in
Mm-hmm.
anything that He has given me. Almost like I hear the men talk that when you go to be trained for the army, that they first break you down and rebuild you into a new mindset. And
Mm-hmm.
it was just amazing how God created this new mindset from the floor up. So
How
that's my
beautiful.
story, how He
Oh,
made the gold pieces in me.
right. And you're shining, sis. You're shining.
Thank you. Thank you.
And you're walking triumphantly. And Maxine, the same with you. You're walking triumphantly. You've taken those hardships, the things that would naturally beat you down and break you, but it's the broken pieces that He puts back together. That's the shalom. The shalom is putting the fragments back together, but properly with His bondo, with his gold, putting them back together so that they function beautifully and properly and then reflect His glory. So Misty, that's kind of like what you're teaching women, right?
You know, Brenda,
Yeah.
today is the 16th anniversary of my husband's passing.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. Thank you.
Sorry for your loss. Yeah.
Today is, and my daughters and I have been texting back and forth.
Mhm.
Today's the first time we don't feel that heaviness.
Oh,
And I believe that's because Yah is healing
yeah.
that area.
Yes.
Um, I'm not going to say that it doesn't still hurt,
Of course.
but it doesn't hurt like it has in years past.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been focusing on spending time with him, especially the past few days. And it's been such a blessing.
Wow. And letting his love for you and his care for you fill in those missing, wounded, hurt.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've never been a journaler, and
Mhm.
but last night I even wrote in my journal. I've never done this before, so we're going to see how it goes. I said I have never started anything and been consistent, but we are going to give it our best shot this time. And then I just began to pray, and I
Ooh.
wrote out my prayer
Mhm.
for that transformation to be permanent, to feel his arms around me,
Mhm.
because I get in these places where I don't feel his presence, and I need to feel his presence.
Yes. Yes. Oh, that's beautiful. There are other, we have several women who have lost their husbands. And I thank you for sharing that testimony, because those are healing words. Those are words of hope.
Well,
And
I can
it's
also tell
beautiful.
you that Misty has been a great help there, because she
Yeah.
is. In fact, I tried to call her last night, but she was studying. I vent with her. She is truly a blessing, and I know that when I really start getting down, I can turn to her as well as is the Holy One, and get the things that I need.
That's beautiful, Carol. Everybody needs their person, right? So Misty, thank you for that was a beautiful testimony, Carol, because it's really testifying that it's true that you're actually walking this out, Misty. You're muted, Lem. Oh, you're unmuted. Okay. You're actually walking this out. It's
I'll
not,
try.
yeah. I know that when you and I first chatted, the first time that we chatted, I was talking to you about character, and you said, "Oh, you're speaking my language."
Yes,
And
yes. It's
so
a
I
big
knew that.
deal.
That's good.
Yeah, it's a really big deal
Hmm.
we've got to be able to show to show people what our beliefs are about, not
Hmm.
just because we don't eat bacon on our salad at a restaurant.
Right.
I mean, that's a practical thing that we
Hmm.
do, but
Hmm.
it all has to start with healing. I mean, we have to be willing to allow him to get in there and get his fingers in our pudding, as
Yeah.
Dave says.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, because if we don't, then what happens is hurting people hurt people.
Mm.
And so when we aren't dealing with those things and allowing him to get in there and take care of it, then we're just allowing that hurt to bleed out onto other people.
Hmm.
And that's not a good place to be. Not a
Hmm.
good place to be at all. One of my favorite scriptures talks about how it's in Isaiah and in Matthew, actually, where he says that a bruised reed he will not break, and a smoldering flax he will not snuff out. So it
Hmm.
doesn't matter how bad you've been hurt, whether you were damaged in your childhood by your parents or your family, your siblings, or you've been damaged by the church. A lot of people have been damaged by the church, and a lot of things can happen, but unless you're willing to allow that healing to come in and take place, you're never going to be all that he has for you.
Right.
And what if there's a woman in your life who needs you to be that light and that place where they can come and receive healing and receive the word and receive encouragement?
Yes.
Because if you're not encouraged, you can't encourage somebody else. You can speak those words, but they're going to be like a clanging cymbal. They're going to be pretty flat because they don't see it in you.
Right. And
So
the world has enough of that. The world has
yes,
there's enough phoniness and enough fake happiness and enough fake all of that. That is not what people are after right now. Thank you, Father. They really want they want reality. They want, pardon me, they want vulnerability. They want to be able to look inside of your life and say, what is different about you?
Absolutely.
Not, you know, how is this? You can appear one way here and you can appear one way there, but how are you walking it out in your life? You're talking about things that have hurt and wounded, and give us an example of something that you were able to walk through where you're able to see now that God truly does make all things together for good. He works all things together for good. He takes us down that pathway.
Okay.
I don't know, just pick something.
This is kind of a hard one for some people, but this is an amazing story of redemption that the Father did in my life, where when I was a child, I was raped by my brother, and then his friends molested me. It was a really horrible time. I don't remember a lot of things about my childhood, a lot. And when I first came into the church, when I first got saved, I wanted that healing. I sought it out because I knew that as long as I held on to that hurt and walked in that brokenness, that I could never reach women, that I could never touch the young girls that I was teaching at that time if I wasn't able to get past that with his touch. Well, there were times that I would literally be walking around saying, I choose to walk in forgiveness. And I bet there were times I would say that 50 times a day. And even it didn't matter to me who was around me. I was so dedicated to walking in that forgiveness and being able to heal from it that it didn't matter. I would be at work in the middle of a conversation and that thought would come in my head and I would say, no, I choose to walk in forgiveness. So I was about 19 years old at that time. So fast forward to February of this year.
Mm-hmm.
And my brother spent time in prison. This brother, now I have 7 brothers and a sister. So this brother was the one that was closest in age to me. He spent all of his life from 15 years old to 55 years old in and out of prison. He did a lot of drugs and it was just a terrible situation. Well, my mother passed away in 2014. And one of the things that she said was, please just make sure that he's good, that everything's taken care of. So I can't even begin to tell you this whole story of how the Father worked this whole thing out for me. But at the end of January, on January 31st, my brother was admitted to the emergency room. He was in prison. He was admitted to the emergency room because he had a staph infection in his lungs and pneumonia. And I was able to go there because I was in East Texas. I was 4 hours away from him instead of in Amarillo being 10 to 12 hours away from him. And I was able to go and be at the hospital and be an advocate for him and help him get what he needed in that time. Well, he was released from the hospital on February the 14th and released from prison on the same day. And so they transferred him to my house in an ambulance, and I had hospice care waiting for him because he also had colon cancer, stage 4 colon cancer. So he came and he stayed with me for 4 months. He lived 4 months after he got out of prison. But what was amazing was how the Father used him to show me that I was worth loving. One day I came home from work. We had bought this tube of Smarties and I came home from work and he had eaten a whole bunch of Smarties, But you know what he did? He saved all the white ones because he knew I loved the white ones, and rolled them up in a little thing and gave them to me. And do you know that tiny little gesture was such a tremendous blessing, because it was like, look, you know what? You are worthy to be loved. And you can have this normal interaction, and this can be good. But it was also a testament of the Father's healing, of how he just moved in my heart and gave me the peace that I needed to be there for him in his last days. I think you're muted.
And that is hard to even comprehend, how the forgiveness of the Holy One, that how he operated that inside of you, Misty. That's I don't even know what to say. It's so beautiful. Please continue. Please continue. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
It's okay. He's just such a glorious Father. And I have to be honest. I mean, it was a horrific experience watching him go through what he went through, and angering. There were so many things that were done to him wrong through the system. And I wanted to fight for him. I did. I wanted to fight for him. I wanted to take on this system that was so corrupt, and all the things that were done wrong. And all in all, it all comes back to, it was just a testament of how good the Father is, how he moves on us, how he wants to bring that completeness and wholeness, that shalom, wholeness, fullness, completeness, nothing missing, nothing broken. That is what he desires for us. But we have to let him do it. We have to let him. We have to ask him. We have to seek it out. He says that if you will seek me, and you will find me when you seek me with all your heart. And if you're not after him, pursuing him in the same way that he pursued you, you can't experience that freedom and the hesed of the Father. That's only one. That's only one. I could give you hundreds of examples through my life.
Sister, I don't think today. I think I'm undone. We'll have you back.
Okay.
I'm joking. You can say anything you want. You can say anything you want, sister. You just ministered so much to me. What I love, what I'm trying to absorb here, is that at the age of 19, you were saying, this doesn't define me. This doesn't define me. This is not who I am. I am choosing forgiveness. I am walking in forgiveness. I am going to be exactly who I was called to be, no matter what has happened to me in the past. And
Yes.
it's like the Holy One took that. You know how he does? He takes that and he magnifies it. He's like, oh, you have no idea what I'm going to do for you. You have no idea the lives that are going to be changed. You have no idea, because your participation with him, that's holiness. That's life-changing. That's taking you to the next realm. And that, sister, is what you release when you speak life to young women and you tell them, walk in it. Don't just say it. Don't just bake your bread and think it's all done. The preparation is of the heart.
Yes.
And your broken heart, sister, was filled with the gold, overflowing.
Yeah.
And that's what you are able to pour out, because your story is so huge. And I just pray that it, in every form of it, it speaks life to those who are wounded.
Yes.
Everyone is not going to be able to operate the way that you did. They're not going to be called to operate the way that you did,
Right.
but he asked it of you. He didn't require it of you. He asked it of you, and you were willing, and you were
Yes.
verbalizing. I love that. You were walking around verbalizing it for years. I
Mhm.
choose to forgive. I choose to forgive. I choose. This is not who I am. I am who God created me to be.
Yes.
That is so miraculous, and it's such a beautiful. It's just such a beautiful story. I'm pretty much undone.
Okay, let me tell you a happy story.
Tell me a happy story.
Okay.
Quick, because I'm running my makeup off, and this is like live. You know what I'm saying?
So the yes, I do understand. um, so this same brother, okay, one of the times that he got in trouble, he was at a bar with his, I think she was only his girlfriend at the time, and they had taken their baby with them, and they were inside the bar, left the baby in the car. He got in a fight. They called my mom to come and get the baby. Well, my brother had children all over the place. And so my mom went and got the baby, and she wanted to adopt this baby and raise this child as her own and just give it a life that she knew it wasn't going to have. So she took the baby in, and then when the people came to do the house investigation, I can't think of the house survey, of kind of what kind of a circumstance that this child was going to be in, my dad ruined it. I mean, he just blew it. Well, I was pretty young in the Lord, and I really wanted to bless my mom. And I just prayed and I said, Father, I don't know how you're going to do this, but I'm asking you to somehow make a way that my mom can be in this baby's life because she wants it so much. And this is her grandchild, please,
Right.
please just help her do something. Well, it was probably, I don't even know how long. It was in the months range later that my mom came home from church and she said, "You are never going to believe this."
I
And
love it when people say that.
and I was like, "What?" Because I'm thinking, I bet I know. And I said, "What?" And she said, "I was in the church and I walked around the corner and there was this baby sitting in a high chair. And she said, I looked at this baby and she said, I knew in a minute that it was Skylar." And I was like, "What?" She said, "Yeah." So she said, I said, "Skylar?" And the dad said, "How do you know that baby's name?" His name, we call him Dustin. And she said, "That's my grandbaby." And he goes, "Really? We've been looking for the other grandparents because we want
Oh,
them to be a part of this baby's life."
oh, I have goosebumps all over me. Oh, oh,
And my mom was like, "Well, okay." And they were friends. I mean, they already knew each other. And the way that it worked out was just, of course, amazing. It was the Holy One just, and I think it was a combination of things. He blessed my mom, he blessed me, he increased my faith. I mean, it was just, it was amazing. It was amazing.
Misty, that is, uh, I'm speechless. Bless God.
Yes. Yes. Oh, he's so good. He is so amazing.
Yes, he is.
So amazing. So amazing. I spent these 2 years in East Texas. I call it my 2 years in the wilderness. And he just took me and he was like, "Okay, come here, honey. We're going to fix a couple things right quick."
Yeah, in a minute, 2 years
Yes.
later.
Yeah, exactly. But he hunts us down.
Yes, he
We don't,
does.
if we don't do it, and he really is after us, I mean, he'll hunt you down. He'll make sure that
Mhm.
he gets
Yeah,
what
yeah,
you need
yeah.
for you. Not that he's
Yes.
trying to, put you under his thumb and
No.
make you do things, but it's
Mhm,
because of his hesed.
mhm.
It's because he
Yes.
wants us to prosper
Yeah.
and to live life, to have that life in abundance, like we talked about.
I love that so much. You know, it's like when we're reading the word and it says that the sins of the father will be visited upon the generations.
Yes.
Isn't that the most beautiful thing? You realize that what that is that's the Holy One saying, if it doesn't get fixed here, I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to visit each one, every generation, speaking life to them, calling them forth, touching those sore spots, bringing it up, bringing it to their remembrance, wiping it away. And if they choose not to, I'm going to visit the next generation. It's not going to continue. He
Mhm.
will hunt us down,
Yes.
generation by generation, person by person, bloodline by bloodline. He really will. It's
Mhm.
all about his redemptive story.
Yes. And he
It is
gives us the
all about
power to
redemption.
overcome it. He
Yes,
gives us the
sister.
power to break those generational curses and not live like that anymore
Yeah,
so that we don't pass it on to our
yeah.
next generation.
If I had a shoe, I'd throw it at you right now. Yes, preach
Yes.
it. This is so good.
Oh, goodness.
Go, Misty, go.
He's so good. He's so good. I we talked about this a little bit last night, but I love him so much more now being Torah pursuant than I ever did in the church.
Uh-huh.
And I can't explain why. I don't know why exactly. I
Mhm.
just know that it's like a clearer picture of
Mhm.
his desire and his guidance, his instructions. All of those things are so succinct and so
Yes,
loving and
right.
so full of that chesed and that grace and I mean, just all of
Yes.
it, all of
I
it.
heard it. I heard it. The hen.
The
Yes.
hen,
All of
yes.
it. Yes, yes, yes. So, so in that, um, in that, when he rescues us, sometimes we're in a place of Egypt.
Yes.
Well, we're always in a place of Egypt. And he rescues us and he pulls us out and he redeems us. And it's not to say that he's not going to continue visiting even the places where it was in Egypt to you,
Right.
wherever that
Right.
wherever that may be, because we don't do any bashing here, you know. And I
Yes.
appreciate the way that you said that so gently, that you're not doing any bashing. We're not doing any bashing. We're not bashing the ex
Right.
ever.
Right. Right.
Because he will continue to visit. He will continue to speak life. He will continue in all of those places, and he draws us out with his loving kindness, and he
Yes.
brings us here. And you and I were talking about this last night. One of the most misunderstood things about the Torah, hearing the word Torah, is that people think that it is a document that is replacing our salvation. It is the document of salvation if you can follow all of it, but if you break one of it, then you've broken it.
Right.
It's so sad because it never has been and never will be ever an issue of salvation. Walking in the Torah is an issue of walking in abundant life.
Yes.
It's an issue of knowing who he is, who you serve. It's an
Yes.
issue of getting to know who he is and what he thinks about things, what his
Yes.
opinion is. We ask, well, we don't know the will of God. Yeah, you do. You
It's right
do.
there.
It's right there. He wants you to love your neighbor. He
Yes.
wants you to love. If you're married to a husband who's not pursuant of Torah, that doesn't negate you from loving him even more than your neighbor.
Right.
Your covenant commitment to him is that, guess what you get to do now? You get to love him right where he's at, because
Yes.
that's character. That's the character of the Holy One right
Yes.
there, right here, right now. And
Yes.
sister, what you did, what you did was you were able to walk out loving the unlovely, forgiving the unforgivable, speaking life where death has been forced, where brokenness has been the goal. You've been able to speak wholeness and wellness. See, and that is an amazing testimony, that you are seeing that you saw that in your life, that he allowed, and he called you from a young age to be an overcomer, that you are not the culmination of your circumstances. You are not a sum of your woundings.
Right.
It's not that you didn't get wounded. It's not that it wasn't horrific, like you said. It's not that it didn't bring death. It did bring death, but he is the one who resurrects life in the midst of what we see as death. And that's what he did in you, Misty.
Yes.
And that's why your heart is so strong toward people walking in character, because you have walked that and you've seen the resurrection power of his word.
Yes.
And that's exactly what, because what you did, sister, is not humanly possible.
Well, his word is living and active.
Yeah.
Living and active. And that's how it's all because of him, because of his spirit, because
Yeah.
and I have to throw this in because it
Please
would not
do.
be the end all beat all, but
Uh-huh.
you know, we talked about this a little bit, that if you are walking and you are only in the word, if you have the word only, then you're going to dry up. But if you have the spirit only, you're going to blow up. But if you put them together, you will grow up. And that's where character comes in. If you put the word together with the spirit, that's where you're going to grow up. So we have to be willing and we have to be active participants. It's not just going to happen for you.
Right.
You have to be an active participant. His word is living and active, sharper than any two-edged sword, to divide even to the bones and the marrow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that's good. That's a Mistyism, all. Okay, that's a Mistyism. If you only have the word without the spirit, you will dry up. If you only have the spirit without the word, you're going to blow up, and you're going to be blowing everybody else up too.
Yes.
But if you put them together, you're going to grow up, and that's precious.
Yes.
I wrote that down. That's a quotable quote.
Quotable quote.
That's a quotable quote, Misty.
Oh.
I appreciate you so much. And there's so many more amazing stories that you and I have talked about. I didn't know which stories you were going to share today. You didn't know which stories you were going to share today. We talked about that last night. It's like, I don't know. We'll just let the Holy One do it. You have an amazing story about your mom and the restoration of walking out, how you were to walk out, how you walked out the love of God through the Torah with your mother.
Yes.
And that she became a Torah pursuer, hot and heavy,
Yes.
before she went to help turn down the sheets and make the beds for you for when you
Yes.
get to that when you get to the place.
Yes.
now she's just like running around in glory, going, "Oh, I'm getting everything ready for."
Yes.
And
She probably is. She probably is. She's got that hospitality thing.
Yeah.
So.
So we have just a couple of minutes. How would you like to, do you want to open this up to have ladies talk to you? Do you want to?
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay. If anybody would like to unmute and ask Misty some questions, or if you have any comments about that, I'm going to try to get over to Facebook, guys. I'm just not, I'm not going to say, I'm just not going to put myself down. I'm going
Good for you.
see if I can get over. I'm going to get over there and I'm going to learn some new skills. There we go. So does anyone have a question? Anyone like to ask Misty a question or a comment about her story and how that affected you? No? Okay. Misty, why don't you just share something with us then? Share something else with us.
All right. I was, one of the things that I wanted to talk a little bit about, if I had that opportunity, was, to talk about how we live in seasons. We talk about how the Torah portion is a lot of times lining up with what's happening in our lives, in the world, those kinds of things.
Yes.
But we also live in seasons. And just because I'm walking through a season where the Father is, say that I'm walking through a season of healing. Like when I was 19 years old, I was walking through that season of healing. Didn't mean that everybody around me was,
Right.
but I was.
Right.
And so that didn't mean that everybody, because I was dealing with healing and I was learning to walk in forgiveness, that everybody needed to do that. That's not where they
Mm,
were.
right.
And a lot of times we tend to project ourselves onto other people when that's really not what the Holy One desires from us. He wants us to walk in the season that we're in and continue to also walk in that hesed and love on other people the way they need to be loved at that
Yes.
time.
Yes.
And
So good. That's wisdom.
yes, and they're just thank you for that. But they're just, sometimes we get so wrapped up in ourselves and in what we're dealing with and what we're going through that we forget that other people are dealing with and going through their own things.
Mhm.
And we need to be able to release that hesed, all of those things that are inside of us that we're gaining, so that those people can feel his presence and his love and his arms around them. And sometimes physically, we do have to be the arms. We do
Yes.
have to be the ones who,
Agreed.
yes, who walk up to them and put our arms around them and give them a shoulder to cry on.
Yeah.
Allow them to find that place of healing, because the only thing that changes anything is his presence. It's the only thing
Yes.
that changes anything.
Oh, that's so good.
We can strive and we can labor all we want, but unless we are entering into his presence, it doesn't matter. It's
Yeah.
not going to change. We can't change ourselves, but we do have to be active participants. We have to allow him to do what he wants to do so that we can touch others and give them the hope and the encouragement and the love and the grace and the power to
Mm.
achieve their purpose.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So I would
Yes.
just encourage everyone, allow him to get his fingers in your pudding, allow him to shine his light in every dark corner. You know, there's a
Yes.
story that I love to tell, and it comes from a book called The Search for Significance. And there, at the very beginning of the book, it talks about there's a man, he was in a wreck. He's laying on the side of the road. He's been thrown from his car. He's very, very damaged. But he has no idea until a car comes down the road and the car's headlights shine on him. And he sees, oh my word,
Oh,
this is
wow.
serious.
Oh, wow.
We have to allow the Holy Spirit to come in and shine that light of his word on our heart and see all those dark, broken places, so that we can walk in the fullness and the wholeness that we need to be able to hand to others, to
Mm,
encourage them, to help them get to that same place.
yes. Oh. Oh, that's so beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Whew. I wanted to mention, Ina Gould said, yes, we have to let God work in our lives to bring the forgiveness, to bring the healing, to help us be all that he wants us to be. So this is really touching her. She said, it's a challenge to me. I start to wonder what false identities and beliefs I have about myself that I need to shed.
Oh, we do. And as women,
Yeah.
we're really good at wearing masks,
Oh, yeah.
really good at it.
Yeah, we are. Oh my goodness.
Mm.
Misty, I don't even want to end, it's been an hour. I can't keep you any longer, ladies. Thank you so much for being here with us. What an incredible time of sharing.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for
Well,
having me and allowing me
yes.
the opportunity to. I appreciate it so much.
Yes. Yeah, we appreciate you. I I would ask for you, would you do this for us? Will you just lead us out? Just pray over the women.
Yes.
Just pray your heart, whatever it is the Holy One has on your heart, and then we will see you guys all next week. Maxine Golden is going to be our guest next week. Maxine
Yay.
will be in the house, and so Misty, would you just pray over the ladies? I know that there are a lot of things that have been touched, a lot of wounds that have been exposed into the hearts of the people right now. So will you just do that for me?
Yes.
Thank you.
Father, we are so thankful for the opportunity to gather together, to break the bread of your word, and to find nourishment in it. Father, I know that there are wounds, that there are pains, that there are things that all of us have to deal with. And I ask you, Father, to bring in the healing balm of Gilead to each and every woman, to mend those places where she may have been broken and didn't even realize that she was broken. Father, you are so wonderful to us in your desires, in pursuing us and caring about our needs. I just ask that you would pursue each and every woman within the sound of my voice, to heal them, to bring them peace, to bring them comfort, to make them whole, to make them become historical, the way we
Yes.
talked about.
Yes.
Father, that they would be living Torah scrolls, walking around for others to see and for them to be read as your desire is for them. They can touch people that we can't touch. Each person has the people that they can touch. And I just ask you to minister to their hearts, help them to see clearly, help them to find your healing in whatever pursuit that you have for them.
Yes.
You are so good, Father.
So good.
And we thank you so much for this time.
Thank you,
In the name of Yeshua. Amen.
Yes. Amen. Ladies, one of the best things about this group is that you can contact Misty. You can message her. If you have something that you need to talk to her about, if you know that she would be the person that you could connect with, that she would understand. It doesn't have to be something that you share publicly, but you could share with Misty. And that's one of the reasons why in my heart is to get us to know each other a little bit. Please don't get your feelings hurt if I haven't called on you yet. I'm working my way through everybody. and you're all valuable, and you're all amazing, and you're all wonderful, and we want to know your stories, and we'll get there. And I just want you to be blessed by Misty. If you need to get a hold of her, I didn't ask your permission for that, Misty. Sorry.
That's
I hope
okay.
you're okay with that.
Yes.
Yeah. Just contact her and let her speak some words of gold over you too. Thank you so much, everybody on Facebook, for watching with us live. We bless you. We bless all of you here on Zoom. If you would just feel yourselves hugged, feel yourselves loved. Thanks so much for joining us. And we will see you next week on our Tuesday talk with Maxine. Thank you so much, everyone. Be blessed.
Bye.
Love you so much. Love you so much, guys.